What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about some Sony games that I think could or maybe could not happen at the Game Awards. So I was trying to do this for a bunch of the major, publishers. Hopefully, depending on order of, these videos coming out, I do too many of them. I did one on Xbox, so we talked about some big Xbox games that, again, I think are possible or not. I think I did WB Games, so this is the Sony one. And I really do want to talk about this because I feel like Sony is the biggest unknown. It's kind of why I wanted to do it in like a group video, because I truly don't even know where I'm going to go with this. I'm kind of thinking on the fly. But no, because with Sony, it's like, only a couple things they're doing and then nothing else. Whereas like with WB Games, you can rattle off like the 4 or 5 games we know. And then, yeah, there's like Monolith's game, right? But other than that, like, we know all of the games. I guess the second, like, WB Montreal's second game. Xbox, I mean, sure, there's probably games that we don't know, but there's a lot of games that we do know, like a ton. So, for Sony, it's like we know God of War and we know Horizon. I guess even like Gran Turismo, stuff like that. But to keep it in perspective, and I'll go further, just past these 2 games, but I want to talk about them. Like, obviously Horizon comes out in February. God of War, we don't know. Would they be shown here at the Game Awards, which is obviously, the point of what we're talking about? I really don't see any reason why Horizon and this maybe is controversial, needs to be shown again. I feel like we've seen everything we kind of need to with Horizon. They've talked about it on the PlayStation blog and done a good job of kind of explaining the outside of the major aspects of the game. I feel like they've done everything they need to. Truly, I don't really know who else you're going to get that you haven't already by showing yet another trailer. I'm sure they will, maybe like a final trailer or something, but I don't know if it needs to be at the Game Awards, and it probably won't be. Same thing for God of War. It's like, well, God of War is a little bit different, right? But I don't know if you show it unless you give a release date, and then do you want to do that at the Game Awards? Obviously, the biggest thing, and one that I am consciously aware of going into this video, was, remember, quite a few times now we've gotten that confirmation that it seems like Sony is going to announce a big PlayStation 5 remake in December, right? That was a big, I don't even know if it's necessarily PS5, but they're going to announce a big remake in December. And that was something that was talked about several months ago, and then even as soon as like a couple of weeks ago, it was kind of brought back up where it's like, don't forget, now Sony themselves didn't say it. This is a leak going around, but it was like, don't forget that this is happening, that this is going to happen. So it goes to, I want to throw this in here because I've said it for all these videos, and in case, this is the first one, the thing to remember is the Game Awards isn't a show where you get like 5-6 games from each publisher, or even where like one publisher does like 5 or 6 things. It's actually, Jeff Keighley has talked about it before. The other publishers don't like that. So he tries to keep it even, and he tries to keep it relatively low. So you're not going to, basically what I'm saying is you're not going to see Xbox come out and have like a mini E3 presentation where they show like 5 to 7 games. Same thing with Sony though, right? So in my opinion, I'm going in expecting maybe 2, maybe even less, but maybe I would say around 2, a remake and then something else. And again, what those things are, like the remake, I would argue, needs to be either Silent Hill or Metal Gear to kind of fit the description of what's being said about the remake. So I would go with one of 2 or one of those 2. You could argue, like, is Hogwarts, I mean, it's not. I would not consider Hogwarts like a Sony thing, clearly, because it's WB. But, like, because of the, I don't know, PlayStation leaning, like when they announced the game, like if Hogwarts is there, do you consider that PlayStation? Again, I personally don't. It's just kind of a question I kind of just raised. Sly Cooper, I don't think you do it because it just started this summer. So it was like 6 months ago, unless you do a very quick, like, music, like you have the iconic theme playing and you just have like a logo pop up. I mean, you could, but like next year is a pretty big anniversary for Sly Cooper, so like you could probably just wait and do it there. And again, like, there's just so much uncertainty. Like, maybe one thing I have thought about a couple times is The Last of Us's multiplayer. The multiplayer, I guess the mode that really at this point is basically its own packaged game. I've been waiting for it forever. A lot of people have been waiting for it forever. I really don't understand why it's taken so long, and I'm sure that's going to come off a certain way to people online because that's what it always does. But I just sincerely mean, from when they started it, to when it is now, it's been like years, and I also don't understand why they didn't start it sooner to try to get the game out at the same time as The Last of Us Part 2. I guess they're not the same game. They're technically separate, but like they would have helped each other. I don't get it. I don't get it. So, it's been a year and a half since The Last of Us Part 2. You could always, by the way, announce a Last of Us Part 2 like PS5 director's cut. Maybe that could be something. But the multiplayer is definitely, I would say that. If I left the Game Awards, okay, and I'm sure I'll make other videos on this of like things that, final predictions, basically what I think. If I left the Game Awards from a Sony perspective, having seen one remake, whether it's Silent Hill, Metal Gear, and I would almost cap it at that, like one of those, and then The Last of Us is multiplayer, I think I'd be happy. I really do. I feel like that would be enough. Again, could they announce other stuff? Could they do maybe like a Final Fantasy 16 thing? I mean, yeah, because that game should come out in 2022 and we're getting closer. But, I maybe like Forspoken is probably like first, so maybe they don't want to show Final Fantasy 16 yet. So, again, that's the thing. Like, there's games here and there. Pragmata just got delayed till 2023, right? But, like, would that ever appear at the Game Awards? So, Sony to me is almost more interesting, and I'm sure that's going to come off the wrong way, but it's almost more interesting because, like, we just don't know so much. And I guess in similar ways with, like, Microsoft, like technically, Fable or like Everwild, which has been like rebooted and stuff, like we don't know when those, in particular are coming out. Same thing for Pragmata and Final Fantasy 16 and stuff like that. So I guess some of the games are in, similar camps with both of them. But to me, Sony's just like all over the place, where the two biggest ones, God of War and Horizon, are almost to me immediately write-offs that like there's no way they'll be there. And so that actually makes it a little bit more exciting, because it's like, well, if Sony wants to have an impact there, which I can't imagine they don't, because like Microsoft will, maybe Nintendo does a Breath of the Wild 2 thing, or maybe just one game. So it's like you're gonna let Nintendo and Microsoft go, and you're not gonna go. And so, what I mean? So I think there's going to be something. So, yeah, I would say the remake and then one other thing. If it's Sly, I mean, that would make my Christmas. That'd be an early Christmas gift. If it was just a brand new game, if it was Final Fantasy 16, if it was The Last of Us multiplayer, Last of Us 2 multiplayer, whatever they're going to call it, I think, honestly, I'd be pretty okay with that, because those are two big things in their own right. And then you have whatever Microsoft might do. I'm sure we're going to get some stuff from WB Games. I'm sure we're going to get stuff that nobody cares about, but that's the way that they go. I think it's going to be a really good show, though. I really do. So let me know what you guys think. What PlayStation game exclusive do you think is going to be shown, if any, at the Game Awards? I will be co-streaming it. I have no idea when this video goes up, but we're getting very, very close. But I will be co-streaming it. We'll go live like an hour or so before, and I'll make more announcements on that as the weeks go on. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. If you want to follow me on Twitter, or subscribe to my second channel, or support us on Patreon or YouTube memberships, links for them all are in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.